Okay, so we're diving into business advice today from an entrepreneur who's been at it for 30 years.
Yeah, he's built and sold a bunch of companies.
So he knows what he's talking about.
For sure. And it's interesting. He doesn't start with that whole find a gap in the market thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the usual advice.
Right. Like you got to find some niche. But he built this super successful marketing agency called Fluid.
I've heard of them. Didn't they sell for a ton of money?
Yeah, they did. But the thing is, the marketing space was already so crowded.
So how'd he stand out then?
Passion, straight up.
No.
The guy was obsessed with marketing and pushing boundaries with like all the new tech back then.
He's ahead of the curve,
Totally like early adopter of email marketing and all that.
which is huge now.
Yeah, and because he loved it so much, he just outworked everyone,
So find what you love and become the best at it.
basically.
But how do you make money from that passion?
He says finding the right partner is crucial.
The co-founder thing.
Yep, someone who's got your back and whose skills complement yours.
Like how he found that graphic designer.
Exactly. They brought his ideas to life.
They were a power couple.
Haha. Business soulmates, he calls it.
I like that.
Someone who shares your values,
Yeah.
your work ethic, all that.
And speaking of values.
Oh, yeah. He's got this crazy test for that.
The integrity question, right?
That's the one.
Would you compromise your morals for 40 years of success? It's kind of heavy.
It gets right to the point, though.
You can tell a lot about a person that way.
Totally filters out the ones just chasing a quick buck.
So you avoid those bad partnerships.
Yep.
Smart. Okay, so passion, co-founder, integrity check.
Yep.
Got it. What about the money, though?
Well, this is where it gets interesting. He's all about delayed gratification.
Wait, really?
Yeah, don't rush to monetize right away.
That's tough for some entrepreneurs, I bet.
It goes against the instant results mindset.
For sure.
But look at Facebook or Instagram. They spent years building their user base.
Before even thinking about making money.
Exactly. They focused on value first.
And look at them now.
Huge, right? And this guy did something similar. With his first client at Fluid,
What did he do?
he did the work for free.
Whoa. Talk about a long game.
But it paid off. That client became his biggest advocate.
So build loyalty and the profits will follow.
Exactly. Patience pays off in the long run.
All right, so patience is key.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of things that take time, he had this interesting idea about being a D student.
Yeah, embracing failure, basically.
Huh. It's not something you hear every day.
It's essential, though. You got to learn from your mistakes.
He said he lost £1 million on a comic book business.
Ouch.
But he said it's a crucial learning experience.
Exactly. You can't get that from a textbook.
So don't be afraid to fail. Just learn from it.
Exactly.
But what about that classic business plan everyone talks about?
He's not a fan.
Really?
Nope, he says ditch it.
Okay, then what?
Use a mind map instead.
I see, so more flexible.
Exactly. Business plans are too static.
Things change too fast nowadays.
Right. A mind map lets you adapt as you go.
Makes sense. He used his own company as an example.
Yeah, free humanity.
Started with a podcast.
Right. Then build a network.
Yeah.
Then got brand partnerships all from that.
And the mind map helped him visualize it all.
Exactly. It connects the dots.
So it's like a living document.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay, so ditch the plan and get mapping.
Basically.
And while we're talking about expanding horizons, he's a big fan of going global.
Oh, yeah. Don't limit yourself.
Bigger market, more opportunities.
And it spreads the risk, too.
Smart. He had this story about opening a Fluid office
Where was it?
in the Middle East
Wow.
with money from a client.
That's creative financing.
Right. So think big, think global.
For sure.
Now, what about finding a mentor?
That's a good one.
Everyone needs guidance sometimes.
He says focus on giving value first. Help someone you admire. And a mentorship might naturally happen.
He got his mentor that way by redesigning their website.
Wow.
And in return, he got valuable guidance
It's about building relationships.
based on mutual respect.
Right. Give before you ask.
Okay, so pay it forward. Build those connections organically.
I like that.
Now, when it comes to building your team, he's a big believer in the power of equity.
Not just as ownership, though, but as a way to align everyone's interests.
So give employees a stake in the company,
Exactly. They become partners then.
not just employees.
It creates a shared sense of ownership.
He did that at Nest, and it led to a buyout.
A successful one.
Everyone wins in that scenario.
Totally. It's all about empowering your team.
Now, lastly, let's talk about selling a business.
The exit strategy.
Any unconventional advice there?
This one's surprising. Act like you don't want to sell.
Really?
Yeah, it puts you in a stronger position.
So don't be desperate.
Exactly. You have more
He
leverage.
got his best offers when he wasn't even trying to sell.
That's how it works sometimes,
He also mentioned partnering with a potential buyer,
like he did with PwC.
which can lead to an acquisition later on.
Right. It's a long game.
So build something amazing and the right opportunities will come.
Absolutely.
What strikes me is how much of his advice challenges the traditional way of doing business.
It's not just about tactics.
It's about mindset relationships and long-term value.
And those apply to any kind of business.
Exactly, whether it's tech or creative or whatever.
It's a good reminder that business isn't just about the numbers.
It's about the people, the
Right.
purpose, the journey itself,
Building something you're proud of.
and making a positive impact.
And now let's dive into one of his big passions.
Marketing.
Yeah, he really gets fired up talking about marketing.
I noticed that.
He sees it as this art form.
More than just ads and stuff.
Way more. He even compares it to rocket science at one point.
Wow, so where do you even begin with that?
He says it all starts with understanding your customer,
Okay, knowing your audience.
but really understanding them, their needs, their challenges. What makes them tick?
Get inside their heads.
Exactly.
You talked about Facebook, right?
Yeah, they started by focusing on college students.
Smart, very specific niche.
And they built features just for them.
Like that relationship status thing.
Yup, it was a huge hit.
So find your target and give them what they want.
Exactly. Don't try to be everything to everyone.
Makes sense. Okay, so you know your customer. What's next?
Then it's all about crafting your brand story.
Ah, the storytelling aspect.
He calls it selling the sizzle, not the steak.
Okay, I like that.
Focus on the benefits, the experience.
Not just the features.
Right, like Apple, they're masters at that.
They make you feel like you're part of something.
Exactly. It's about emotion and belonging.
Okay, so brand story is key, but how do you get people to notice your story?
Well, he has this interesting analogy.
Oh yeah, the staircase thing.
You remember that?
I do. He bought a staircase at an auction.
The first one ever sold in London?
Yeah, this is the big deal.
It created so much buzz.
So unexpected.
And that's his point.
Find your staircase.
That thing that makes you stand out.
Be memorable. Be different.
Right, because even the best marketing
Uh-huh.
won't work if nobody sees it.
True. So you got to get people's attention.
And then you got to make sure you're reaching the right people.
That's where marketing channels come in.
He says, don't spread yourself too thin.
Pick a few and do them well.
Exactly. Focus your efforts
He also talked about systems and processes.
to make your marketing more efficient.
Right. Automate what you can.
And most importantly, he says, have fun with it.
Oh, yeah. Enjoy the process.
If you're not enjoying it, it'll show.
Okay, so marketing should be fun. Got it.
And he had some good stuff about PR, too.
Public relations.
Yeah, how to get media coverage.
That's always helpful.
His advice is pretty simple.
Don't spam journalists.
Haha, right. Do your research first
Understand their work.
and build a genuine relationship.
He says engage with their articles.
Offer insights. Be a valuable resource.
And they'll be more likely to cover your story.
Exactly.
He also said to make their job easier. Provide all the info they need.
Help them craft the story.
Be proactive.
And remember, your personal brand matters, too.
Oh yeah, what you post online, all that.
It all affects how people see you.
So PR is a long game.
It's about relationships and credibility.
Okay, so now let's talk about funding. Because at some point, most businesses need money to grow.
He's actually invested in over 70 companies.
Wow, he knows this stuff inside and out.
And his first piece of advice is, do you even need an investor? Good question.
Because outside money comes with strings attached?
You might lose some control.
Exactly. So consider other options first.
Like bootstrapping,
Or crowdfunding.
maybe even partner with clients.
He had this example of a client who financed his expansion into the Middle East.
Wow, because they wanted to work with him that badly.
Yep, it's about finding win-win solutions.
So get creative with your funding.
But if you do go the investor route, he has some tips for that too.
Lay it on me.
Build a relationship first.
Before asking for money.
Yeah, show them your value.
He prefers when people ask for advice first.
It shows you're serious.
Investors want to be more than just a checkbook.
They want to be part of the journey and use their experience to help you succeed.
Exactly.
He also said to do your research on the investor.
Know their portfolio, their investment style.
Tailor your pitch to them.
And don't forget about FOMO.
The fear of missing out.
Make them feel like they'll regret not investing.
Smart play to their emotions.
He also talked about different types of investors.
Angels, VCs, all that.
He's a big fan of using safe notes.
And Y Combinator.
They simplify the investment process.
Less paperwork, less hassle.
Everyone wins.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. Passion co-founders, marketing, PR funding. But there's one thing that ties it all together:
I think I know what you're going to say.
building a strong brand.
Yeah, he's really big on that. Building a brand, not just a business.
So what's the difference?
It's about more than just your product or logo. It's
Yeah.
the values, the mission, the feeling you give people.
The emotional connection.
Exactly. And he says it starts with your personal brand.
Okay, so like what I stand for.
Yeah, what makes you you?
What do I want people to say about me when I'm not in the room?
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
Because we all have a personal brand, whether we like it or not.
True. It's how people perceive you.
So better to be intentional about it.
And once you've got that figured out, you can apply those same principles to your company.
So authenticity, consistency values,
Exactly. He uses his own companies as examples.
Fluid-Free Humanity Help Bank.
Each one has a very distinct brand identity.
And he talks about 2 models for building a brand: reference and leadership.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Reference is like partnering with someone who embodies your values,
Like Canon and Peter McKinnon.
or Nike sponsoring athletes
They leverage the credibility of others.
to boost their own brand image.
Smart.
And then leadership is where a key figure becomes the face of the brand.
Like Steve Jobs and Apple.
He's kind of like that for his own companies.
True, he's the personality people associate with them.
But no matter which model you choose, he says consistency is key.
Absolutely. Your message has to be clear across all channels.
Website, social media, even how your employees talk to customers.
It's about creating a unified experience.
So people know what to expect from your brand.
And sometimes he says building a strong brand means saying no.
To opportunities that don't fit.
Exactly. Partnerships, clients even.
It can be tough to turn things down.
Especially when you're starting out.
But it's important to protect your brand.
Your brand is your most valuable asset.
It's what differentiates you in the market.
It builds trust and loyalty
And ultimately, it's what drives success.
in the long run.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. Passion, co-founders, marketing, branding. But what about building a team?
It's the people.
How do you attract and keep great people
He's big on giving employees equity.
so they have a real stake in the company?
Exactly. It aligns everyone's interests.
It turns them into partners, not just employees.
And he says leads to better performance.
They're more motivated, more loyal,
He told that story about Nest.
where giving equity led to a management buyout.
Everyone won in that situation.
Of course, equity has its own complexities,
But he thinks the benefits outweigh the risks
and you got to have clear agreements in place.
to avoid any issues down the line.
Now, besides equity, he also talks about company culture
Creating a positive environment
that reflects your brand values,
and attracts the right kind of people.
people who are passionate about your mission.
He learned this the hard way at Fluid.
What happened?
At first, he was all about making money. It led to high turnover. Nobody was happy.
So he had to change his approach.
He realized that happy employees are essential for a successful business.
So he shifted his focus to building a better culture. And that's when things really took off.
So company culture is crucial
And as your business grows, you need systems and processes.
to keep things running smoothly.
Delegate responsibility, define clear roles,
Invest in training and development.
empower your team to do their best work.
Makes sense. And here's something he really emphasizes.
What's that?
Define your own definition of success.
Oh, yeah. What are you actually working towards? What does a fulfilling business look like to you?
Because if you don't know where you're going,
Any road will get you there.
and sometimes achieving your definition of success might mean letting go.
Selling a business, stepping back from a leadership role,
It's about creating a life you love
where you can pursue your passions
and make a positive impact.
and enjoy the ride,
It's a good reminder that business is a journey.
not just a destination.
It's about more than just the bottom line,
It's about building something meaningful.
something that makes a difference.
So what resonates with you from all this? The power of passion, the importance of a strong brand, maybe those unconventional approaches to things, like mentorship or funding. Keep these ideas in mind as you build your business. Remember, success isn't just about the end goal. It's about enjoying the journey. And who knows, maybe someday you'll be the one, sharing your wisdom with the next generation of entrepreneurs.